In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I signed my first client on Upwork before generating hundreds of thousands of dollars from the platform. And if you stick around to the end of this video and you implement the tactics, I guarantee you'll sign your first client on Upwork. But before we dive into that, first, I need to just make it very clear that you don't need to spend hundreds of hours submitting proposals or implement some crazy tactics to sign your first client. That's what I thought when I was first starting, and it's completely unnecessary. And you're gonna wanna make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm gonna reveal the exact proposal templates that I used to sign my first 2 clients on Upwork and the messages that me and those clients sent back and forth before they officially hired me. But before that, here's what we're gonna cover in this video. First, I'll show you how to fully optimize your profile as a beginner without needing any social proof. After that, I'll teach you the highly effective but very simple Upwork proposal framework that I teach to beginners on Upwork. Then I'll go over how to filter for jobs, what type of jobs to apply for, and how many proposals you'll need to submit to sign your first client on Upwork. I'll also go over Upwork appointment setting so you can turn messages into meetings, and Upwork sales so you can turn those meetings into paying clients. And I can promise you these strategies truly work. Liana, a member of my Upwork coaching program, signed her first client on Upwork 4 days after her first coaching call with me. And on that coaching call, we talked about many of the strategies that I'm gonna reveal here today. First and foremost, you need to have an optimized profile. Now, this is something that I didn't do as well as I should have when I was first starting out, and it hurt me a lot. And as I'm sure you've probably heard in my previous videos, optimizing your profile is all about social proof. And social proof is stuff like big companies you work for, your years of experience, testimonials, client interviews, case studies, stuff like that. Now, if you don't have any social proof, don't worry at all. As I already mentioned in this video, I'm gonna go over a lot of different strategies that you can use to sign your first few clients on Upwork without having any social proof. That being said, if you do have social proof, make sure to put it in a bunch of different areas of your Upwork profile. Other than social proof, here are the essentials. You need to have a professional looking profile photo. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you should have good lighting and a friendly smile. And you also need a title that clearly states what you do and the services you offer. And if you offer multiple services or multiple subsets of your service, make sure to separate them with a vertical line, such as content creation, vertical line, social media management, vertical line, UGC. And ideally, you'll only offer 2 services on Upwork with a maximum of 3. But especially if you're just starting out, I would highly recommend sticking to 1 or maybe 2 different services on Upwork. So those are the basics. Now let's talk about the written introductions. Your written introductions should each be 1,500 characters long, and the first paragraph should talk about who you are, where you're from, and the services you're offering. And ideally, you'll be able to incorporate some social proof into these first paragraph and first few sentences, but again, if you don't have any, don't worry at all. Now, another thing to mention is that the written introduction of your main profile can talk about all of the services that you're offering on Upwork. And like we spoke about, ideally, this will only be 1, 2, and at a very maximum, 3. And the specialized profiles should each only talk about 1 specific service, right? And other than that, the written introductions of your main profile and your specialized profiles can be very, very similar. And in terms of the format, I like to use short paragraphs and lists. The reason being, it's really easy to read. And the very last thing that we want is for a client to click on our profile and see a massive block of text that's very ugly and intimidating and then click off of it. So we want ours to be very easy to read, which is why I use, again, short paragraphs and lists. And lists, you can make lists of services you offer, the tools you use, platforms you work on. Any of those things work very well, as long as it's relevant information that your clients care about. Now, in terms of your portfolio, no matter what service you're offering on Upwork, you need to have all 3 sections filled out. The reason being, if you have missing sections of your portfolio, it just makes your profile look incomplete, and obviously we don't want that. Now, if you offer a visually stimulating service, the portfolio section is pretty straightforward. Just put different projects that you're proud of into each section of your portfolio. And as a side note, the first section is by far the most viewed one, and the first section of your portfolio is one of the most viewed sections of your entire profile, especially if you offer a very visually stimulating service. Now, if you don't offer a very visually stimulating service, such as accounting, bookkeeping, Google ads, Amazon ads, SEO, or anything else that's not very visually stimulating, that's totally fine, but you still need to have a portfolio section. So a few things to consider if that's you. Well, number 1, filming a different video for each service you offer, right? So if you offer SEO, you could film 1 video talking about your off-page SEO services, 1 video talking about your on-page SEO services. You could film a video talking about your blog posts, and so on and so forth, right? And then you could put each one of those videos into each separate section of your portfolio. Another thing to consider is having some form of social proof in that first section. Now, if you have a video testimonial, a client interview, a case study, then that is a really, really nice thing to have in the first spot of your portfolio section. Now, skill tags are going to help you show up higher in the search rankings versus other freelancers and agencies. And that's important because when a client searches up a service, if you can rank at the very top, then obviously you're going to get a lot more inbound leads and a lot more messages from clients. But for right now, if you're just beginning on Upwork, we don't need to get this perfect. We're going to optimize this further down the line once we have a much better idea of who your clients are and the exact services you're consistently performing for them. So for now, I would simply search up all relevant services that you're offering. So if you offer Google Ads, that might look like the term Google Ads, the term pay-per-click advertising, PPC, Google Analytics, right? Your service and each relevant term related to it. And if you have 15, then that's awesome. And if you don't, simply go to Upwork and search for jobs related to your service, and you'll see at the bottom of each job are these little bubbles, and each of those are skill tags. And so simply scroll through those until you can find a few more to put into the skills section. The important thing here is to make sure you have 15 skill tags that are all relevant to the service you offer. And again, we're going to further optimize this later down the line once we have more data on who exactly you're serving on Upwork and the exact services you're doing for them. Now, just below the skills section, you'll see something called a project catalog. Don't worry about setting that up for now. Instead, scroll straight down to the testimonial section. Now, I get asked all the time in the comments of my YouTube videos how people can sign clients on Upwork without having any social proof. And the truth is, you definitely can, but it's a lot easier just to gather a little bit of social proof and to have it in your Upwork profile. Now, the easiest way to do this is to simply request a testimonial from a client you've done work for in the past. And they don't have to be a client that you got through Upwork. You'll see when you press the little plus button in the testimonial section, you only need the client's LinkedIn profile to be able to request a testimonial from them. And if you've never ever done any work for any client in the past, then I would recommend requesting a testimonial from a friend or family member and having them just write about your character. Now, there's nothing unethical if they just write a testimonial speaking to who you are as a person and not mention anything about the services you're offering. For example, if I was going to do this, I might request a testimonial from my friend Gus, and he might write, Nico is a very hardworking guy and he always shows up on time, right? Those things are both true, I would like to think, and there's nothing in there about the services that I've delivered, right? Because I haven't delivered any in this fake made up scenario, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And that is gonna be by far the easiest way for you to gather some form of social proof and have it on your Upwork profile. Now, in terms of the certification section, this is pretty self-explanatory. If you have any certifications that are related to your services on Upwork, simply upload them to Upwork and they'll be displayed on your Upwork profile. And there is also an option to upload them manually if you prefer to do that. Now, in terms of the employment history section, you're also going to want to upload all relevant employment history to your Upwork profile. And I want to make this super clear. Nobody cares if you were a zookeeper. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that if I'm offering video services on Upwork, video editing, and I have something at the very, very top of my employment history section that talks about my zookeeping experience, nobody cares about that. It's completely irrelevant. And so in the employment history section, you want to have as much relevant past experiences as you possibly can, right? Past employments. And once you get all the way to the bottom of your Upwork profile, you'll see the other experiences section. Now, unlike most other people, I do not believe that you should put something completely irrelevant. Like I just talked about, if you had another experience as a zookeeper, nobody cares. It's completely irrelevant. And so use this other experiences section just as another place to talk about the services you're offering. Now, a great example of this is if I'm offering paid ads on Upwork and now I run my own agency, but in the past, I worked for a big advertising firm, then that would be a great thing to reference in the other experiences section of my Upwork profile. So just make sure that this is relevant information to the services you're offering. Now that you've completed your Upwork profile, you need to make sure it's registered with Upwork. So how do we do that? Well, if you go to the Upwork home screen, on the right-hand side, you're gonna see a little bar with a percentage underneath your name. And if that is anything less than 100%, you need to go back to Upwork in your profile and make sure you've completed every section that we just covered. Because if your profile is less than 100% complete, Upwork's algorithm isn't going to show it to as many clients as it would if your profile was 100% complete. Now that you have a fully completed and optimized profile, I'm going to reveal the simple but highly effective proposal template that I teach beginners to get their first clients on Upwork. So it says, hey, insert first name of the job poster. I've read your job description and I'm confident that I can help you insert the goal of the job poster. Now, this is where you're just going to talk about the details the client wrote in the job description. Although I'm new to Upwork, I've been working in X industry for X years, and I've completed many insert job type. So an example of this might be, although I'm new to Upwork, I've been working in the paid advertising industry for 4+ years, and I've completed many Google Ads projects. Then you'll provide some social proof if you have them, and outline how you specifically can solve their problems. Then you'll say, my portfolio can be found on my profile below the work history section, as Upwork no longer allows links in cover letters. I'd love to hop on a call and hear more about your project. Is there a time this week or next that you'd be free for 15 minutes? Thanks, and then your name. Now, if you're brand new to offering your services, then obviously you're not gonna have any social proof. And so instead, in the second paragraph, just focus on talking about who you are, where you're from, the importance of your services, and what your clients care about. Now, for example, if I'm a web designer, even though I haven't completed any web design project in the past, I still probably know that my clients care about a slick design, a design that converts if they want booked meetings or sales or whatever their metric is. They want something that converts, and something that has a fast loading time, right? So I can mention each of those pillars inside of my proposal, and that's gonna make the clients feel understood. Another few things to consider is the less social proof you have, the more personalized this needs to be. So if you have absolutely no social proof, then you should be writing at least 3 to 5 sentences personalized based on the details that the job description included. Now, just to clarify, you can have links in your cover letters, but they can't include any way for a client to contact you outside of Upwork. So for example, if I have a link to a Google Drive folder inside my proposal, and inside that Google Drive folder is a PDF, and at the bottom of the PDF is my calendar link, my email, my phone number, any of that, then Upwork could still flag me and suspend my account. And so if you're gonna have links and cover letters, just be super careful and be absolutely certain that there's no way for a client to contact you outside of Upwork. And as a side note, if you're interested in even more advanced, even more in-depth Upwork proposal training, that's one of the sections of my free Upwork course and community. So if you wanna join that, I'll put a link in the description so you can. Now that you have a fully completed and optimized profile and an awesome proposal template, you need to know which jobs to apply for and how to filter for them. So if you're a complete beginner on Upwork and you've never signed your first client, then what you're gonna do is go to the Upwork home screen, and in the top right-hand corner, you're gonna search up your service. Then you're gonna click the button in the top left corner that says your country only, and you're gonna click the fixed price button and select a maximum of $200. Then you're gonna submit hyper-personalized proposals to these jobs. Now, if you have tons of experience providing your service outside of Upwork and you've already gotten some social proof and you submit hyper-personalized proposals, you should get a message, roughly 2 messages out of every 10 proposals you submit. Whereas if you're just starting out offering your service, you have no clients ever, no social proof, it's probably gonna be closer to 1 out of 15, even if you're submitting really personalized proposals. So that's how you're gonna get clients to message you. And for 99% of you, I would encourage you guys to try and get on a call with the client instead of trying to close them in the DMs. Now, if it's a really inexpensive project for like $10, $20, $30, or really anything less than like $100, then some clients might be fine just hiring you without ever getting you on a call. But for most of you, you should be trying to get on a call with these clients before closing the deal. And so to do that, you need to be good at appointment setting. An appointment setting is essentially the process of taking somebody from just messaging you to getting on a live call with you. And so on Upwork, this is actually really easy. So if you use the proposal template that we just gave you, you'll notice at the end, we ask them to set up a quick 15-minute meeting. And so if you use that, or even just using a proposal template with a call to action in it that looks similar to that, a lot of clients are just gonna respond to your proposal and send you a message answering that question call to action. So for example, they might just send you a message saying, hey John, I'd love to set up a time to meet with you. Are you free this Friday? Right? So they're just gonna answer that little question. And obviously those people, it's very, very easy to get on a call with. You just find a time that you're both free. Now, the other people who don't do that will likely send you a message just with a bunch of questions. And we still want to answer these questions, but we also want to make sure we're getting on a call with these people, because getting on a call is going to really increase our chances of closing a deal. And so to get on a call with clients who are sending you messages and questions, the way I like to handle it is give them a general answer and then ask for the call. And so if I get a message and it says, "Hey Nico, I love your proposal. How much do you charge for social media management?" I would say, "Hey Mr. Client, thanks so much for your reply. I charge between $500 and $2,000 per month for my social media management services." Now, to give you an exact quote, I would need to have a little bit of a better idea of what you're looking for and the goals you're trying to achieve. Is there a time this Tuesday that you're free for a quick call so I can give you that exact quote? Right, so I'm framing it as a benefit to them. I'm giving them a general answer because obviously we don't want to make them mad or frustrate them. So a general answer, and then push for the call and frame it as a benefit to them. And that, in short, is Upwork appointment setting. Now, once you're getting these clients on the calls, you need to know how to turn the calls into high-paying clients. And so to do that, you need a simple Upwork sales framework. And selling on Upwork is really easy. It's probably the easiest part of this entire process. Because if you think about it, these clients have already spent time reading our proposals, reviewing our profiles, messaging us before we've even gotten on the call with them. So they're very warmed up to us. Additionally, they're the ones who posted the job, right? They already know they need our service and they're seeking our help. And so naturally selling to them becomes really, really easy. You just have to focus on two main things. Number one, developing a lot of rapport, right? Like we just talked about, these clients don't need convincing, right? We don't need to convince them that they need our service, but we do need to get them to like us and to get comfortable with us, right? And so developing rapport is super, super important. Just practice your small talk and get good at it. The second thing is you need to get in the habit of showing these clients examples of your work, and they should be highly relevant examples, right? The more relevant, the better. And so for example, if I am offering logo design on Upwork and I'm on a sales call with a home improvement company, then I want to show that client live examples of my work, of other logos that I've designed for other home improvement companies, right? Or as close to that niche that I can get, right? And so if you just do those two things, you're gonna close a ton of deals on Upwork. I close at about 35% on Upwork. I don't use any crazy tactics. I don't do any like high pressure closing. It's completely unnecessary. I just focus on the two things that we just talked about. So if you do the same thing, I promise you, you can get your first few clients on Upwork. And I'm not gonna go super in depth on this video about Upwork sales because I have another video on my channel about that. And you just don't need to be super good at sales to get your first few clients. And as I promised at the beginning of this video, here's the proposal that I used to get my first clients on Upwork and the messages that me and those clients sent back and forth before they officially hired me. So my proposal says, "My name is Nico and I run a social media marketing agency that helps brick and mortar businesses grow through Facebook and Instagram advertising and audience expansion. I've been working with Facebook Business Manager and Ads Manager for many years, and I can take care of the job in an hour or so. I'm happy to hop on a Zoom and do it for you through screen sharing, and you can pay once the job is complete. I know you said you need this done soon. I'm available for most of today and tomorrow if you want to hop on a quick Zoom and get it done. Just let me know what time works best for you. We've recently identified Upwork as a strong place to meet prospects for our advertising agency, so we prefer if payment could be done through Upwork as we want to rapidly expand our Upwork portfolio and experience." And the client sent a message back saying, "Hi Nico, thank you for touching base regarding helping us with transferring 2 Facebook pages/accounts. You mentioned you have social media marketing agency. Would you happen to have a link to your website or proof of work/clients? Thank you." And then I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm having our current website remodeled right now, but I can send you a link to our client onboarding page, which is staying the same. And I'll also send over a case study or two." And as you can see, I sent them a link to my client onboarding site. And as a quick side note, as we've already mentioned, do not do this. Do not follow my bad example in this. This was a very long time ago when Upwork's terms of service was a little less strict. And so I would highly recommend that you do not send any way for clients to contact you outside of Upwork, especially don't send links like this or phone numbers or emails in the chats. But regardless, I did it. And the client said, "Hi Nico, good enough. We can get started when you're ready. You can connect with Ron on Zoom if you'd like to send a link over." I said, "Okay, great. Are you guys available to start at 10:30 EST? I've got a team meeting at 10, but we only go for 15 minutes. They said that's fine. And then I got on the call with the client and I started work immediately. And I really didn't need a sales call for this job because the job was so small. You see, my first 2 projects came from the same client, So they both came from that proposal, and they were each only for $60, helping this client with a simple transfer of their business Facebook page. And so obviously for a $60 project, if that client didn't feel like they needed a sales call, I wasn't gonna push for it, right? So they hired me, and then I got on the call and delivered the project. And so as you can see, that is the proposal that I used to get my first 2 clients, first 2 jobs on Upwork. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I could have done better, but it was a long time ago, and so you kind of learn as you go. And so that is all I've got for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you found value out of it. And if you do implement these tactics, I can guarantee you're gonna sign your first client on Upwork. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.